Take Flight is the only sports talk show of its kind, taking sports talk to new heights.
One more time, he does it again, back to back for Chaz Colum.
Checking in on all levels of sports, from high school to professional.
And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
College athletes and coaches stop in and talk X's and O's while sharing stories about the teams.
23 seconds left. Armstrong, and the receiver was out of bounds. He caught it. It's a touchdown, but he stepped out. Was he pushed out? That'll be the question.
Now, we head to the flight crew as we prepare to take flight. Welcome in to Take Flight, and we are back with, I believe, our fourth episode? This thing is flying by, you know. Irvin Doman, we got Connor Luby once again.
How's it going? Yeah, it's going pretty good, man.
Yeah, and then we got Christopher Thien.
Hey, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, it is good to be back here, and we had a lot of sports going on yesterday for Northeast.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the not so good one, because it's kind of the season wrap up.
R.I.P.
The women's basketball team fell to Iowa Central Community College in the ICCAC tournament, 68-45. We were kind of talking box score watching here because I didn't get to watch it. I downloaded the ICCAC app on my Roku, like you said, but man, I could not find it.
Yeah, they weren't. I guess it was just on Iowa Central's YouTube page, so they had it a little bit different. I steered you the wrong way.
No, it's all right. Didn't really miss much, unfortunately, because it was not really super competitive. But yeah, we fell, and it's over for the women's basketball team. Men's is wrapped up as well. Let's kind of discuss the way the seasons went. We're going to start with women's, and I'll let you kind of give your thoughts first.
It was a pretty down year for Matt Savela's terms. I was just going through it, and he's got almost all winning records. He's only gotten a few years that weren't winning records. This is just going to be one of those years, but I think you got to take every year and you got to find your positives out of it, and you can't weigh too much on the negatives. Team was really strong all year long. They got a lot of features, a lot of players that are going to be useful into the future, and a lot of talent that's probably going to keep going into the next level. So you can't weigh too much looking at that record wise. You just got to take the positives out of the year, as many as you can.
Yeah, I think taking positives is probably the route they're going to go.
Yeah.
Before the game, while we were at the softball game, I thought it was pretty cool. I got to look at one of the players' Snapchat stories, and Keith, who's the janitor here, had wrote a really nice message on the board for the ladies before they went on. And so I think that's just a positive note, the community, the culture that's built even outside of the team with people that just work in the building. So definitely take some positives away. And kind of what were your thoughts on this?
Like Connor said, taking away the positives, you had so many pieces on this roster. I mean, now granted, you did have a very small roster this year, but I guess one of the positives is, the player development that they had with their freshmen that came in and played a lot of minutes this year and just kind of stood out. And yeah, I guess that's one of the biggest positives for this women's team in the near future.
This team had a really good record during conference play too. It was just early on in the season, it just seemed like they didn't have a full connection going on, but you could tell later in the season how much they grew as a team. And that's probably one of their bigger takeaways that they're going to have on the year is that progression that you saw throughout the season and how well the team developed together.
Yeah, I mean, and you talked in your first statement about sending talent to the next level. I think when it's all said and done these past couple of years here at Northeast, we're going to look back on that team and specifically Ashley Hassett and what she can do in the future with her basketball skills. And we're going to be like, man, we had a future D1 level athlete here and went to the next level, might even play overseas, something like that. As you know, we had Patricia Peric last year, and she's playing overseas now. Obviously, she was from Croatia, so it's kind of nice to see talent spread out. We got a chance to watch it, and definitely has the potential to grow into something more extraordinary for her. And wish Molly and Lorna the best in what they decide to do, if they call it a career and don't want to move on and they just want to go about their lives. Wish them all the best. And talking about this up and coming freshman team, I guess. We got Alyssa Cosgrove, who didn't play this year, so it'll be interesting to see what she brings to the team. I don't know much about her game since she didn't play, but I think she can really show what she can do next year, stepping into a role. And then looking at Autumn Dickmander, she'll probably step up high into that scoring role as we kind of saw her do this year. Marta Pons, she Junior Dennis, when we all sat down and talked after the game, we talked about her smooth kind of style, her European style of play. So she'll be able to showcase that a little more. Looking at Alexis, she'll come back off of her ACL injury and hopefully, show out. She was a defensive force for this team, getting steals really early in the year, kind of showcasing her talents. And there's a few more, Jaden and Ellie, kind of really got a lot more playing time than they probably would have this year if it wasn't for the injuries and stuff like that. So definitely they got a chance to kind of grow their skills, and we'll see how one off season and some more training in the program will benefit them.
Oh yeah, just more time in the system, and it gives them more time to develop as players and overall. And just that's all you need as if you want to keep getting better in your sport. You just need reps. You need time out there.
Yeah, and so that's the women's basketball season concluding with a record of 12-19, 9-11 in conference, and they did fall just short last night to Iowa Central Community College, 68-45. And let's look at the men's team because they wrapped up on last Friday, so it's almost been about a week since they've ended their season. They lost 70-53 to Iowa Central. This season, it's going to be kind of the same way we look at the women's season. It's going to be a lot of growth, and I know we've talked about it a lot before, where it's young people and everyone's coming back. Jared and Evan are coming back, and then they're going to bring in other people, other additions. So we'll start with Chris here. We'll let you give your kind of wrap up on the team, what you saw. I know you had a chance to commentate some games, run some sub switch, and do all that stuff, and just watch and observe. So what do you think?
The men's team, they have a lot of talent. They're probably one of the best teams. It just I don't know what it is with this men's team. It's something like they can't click, and it's like the Husker men's basketball team. They're so good in the first half, and then they slip in the second half, and everything just falls apart. And that's one of the biggest things that I think really needs to make an improvement going into next season.
Yeah, I would agree for the most part, and I'll let Connor kind of give his thoughts before I give mine.
Yeah, no, this team is really good, and they got a lot of talent that they're going to be bringing back here, and a lot of people that at the beginning of the season you might have not expected to step out as much as they did. I didn't expect a season out of Emmanuel Alexandre like he had, and or Colin Storr had a really good second half of the year once he started to find his groove a little bit. And then, you have Jared and Evan coming back who had very solid seasons as well. They just couldn't figure it out in the second half of games. They would have leads heading into the second halves. A lot of these games, they could just never seal the deal. Just some of the little things would get away from them, and it was a lot of discipline oriented problems that they had. And towards the end of the year, I thought it really looked like they wanted to get that win so bad, and they had a little bit more discipline at the end of the year, and that's kind of what brought them that win at the end, and you could start to see the momentum growing.
Yeah, momentum is probably a big thing going into next year. When you were gone on the vault because you weren't feeling super well, Junior actually kind of stepped in and talked with me for about 30, 40 minutes on the show on Monday, and we talked about all sorts of different things, but he really, I kind of asked him, like, did you see this team kind of buy in? I asked him about a certain motto, like a lot of teams in the NFL or NBA or college, they'll have a motto. And he said it on the show the other day. He said, you got to love it, not like it. And that's kind of their motto. And I asked, throughout the course of the season, did you see any of the players kind of grow into I start to love the game, not just like it? Did it kind of click for them? And I kind of think he said, yeah, he could see it kind of go off in their minds, in their brains, like with the light bulb, like, oh, this is what I got to do. I got to be this X, Y, and Z. to show that I love the game. And when he saw that, I think that's kind of when you started to see the team click. And obviously, you know, they let some games slip, and it's going to happen when you have a young team. But I think that's kind of the big picture, is kind of instilling a motto within your, creating a culture is kind of the way I look at it. People talk about, you know, creating a culture within any locker room that you're in. And, you know, I think Junior's doing his very, very best to kind of, you know, create a winning culture within that locker room, because they've had a couple, you know, off seasons. There's great coaching. There's a lot of experience on that coaching staff, from playing, from just coaching experience with years and years and years of that, and learning from many great coaches. And, you know, I think Junior's doing his best to instill that winning culture within the locker room. And I think we're going to see it play out next year.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This team is going to have a lot of success next year, and there's a lot of teams in the ICCAC where their team is going to have tons of turnover. They have a lot of players that are going away from the program, and when you're just returning players at a level like this, it's just big time that you can have that much experience coming back.
Yeah, yeah. And I talked with Sahid Sanusi on Sunday night. I was in the gym just getting some shots up, and he was in there. And I was just talking with him, and, you know, I was like, you know, season's over. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? And just kind of gauging where he was at as, you know, being a player on a team that, I don't want to say underperformed, but definitely the season didn't go the way they wanted it to. And I was asking, you know, just basic questions like, you know, how's Nebraska treating you? Like, I don't want to just hone on how the season went or whatever. And then I, you know, asked him, like, you know, do you have any future aspirations of like going D1? Like, are you just playing to play, or what's the goal here? And he's like, yeah, I kind of want to move to Florida, because, you know, it's closer to home and whatnot, and become the best player I can be. And I think you're going to see that with a lot of these players, where next year and throughout the off season, they know, hey, if I want to go D1, if I want to go to the next level, whatever your goal is, I got to work as hard as I can to reach that goal. And so just having that conversation with Sanusi was kind of a insight to how he was thinking of going to the next level of how he's got to get there and what he's got to do. So that's kind of the men's basketball season. They finished with a record of 5-23, 1-15 in conference, and like we said, next year definitely expect them to be a lot better. Moving on to a very, very, very good program, we're going to talk some Hawks baseball, they're currently on a 14-game winning streak, sitting at 14-1, and man, a lot of talent. That's all I can do to describe it. I'll let you go.
I mean, this team is just unreal right now. They keep getting like double-digit wins over all their opponents and ending these games in mercy rules right now. If you're putting up numbers like that, performances like that, you see them getting shouted out by the conference all the time, these players that we have both on pitching and hitting. It's just crazy to see the stats that they're putting up so far on the year, and I can't wait for them to get back here in Norfolk to play some games.
Yeah, I mean, we're still sitting on pins and needles kind of waiting to watch them in person for the first time.
Yep.
I don't know if you've got a chance to watch any of their streams or anything. I really haven't, so this is going to be...
Yeah, none of the games have really had a live stream coverage from the other colleges, so you haven't had a real chance to see them visually, how they've been performing. So you just only been able to look at the stats and stories that have been written so far. So, and just by what you're seeing, it's incredible. They're going to have a really good season. They're ranked 18th in the country.
Yeah, we want to talk about talent going D1. This baseball team has it, and obviously, since none of us have seen the baseball team, you know, we can't really say, you know, I've seen this, I've seen that. But from what you're hearing, from box score watching, from observations like that, what are you expecting when they come to town on Wednesday the 9th and play their first home game?
This team's going to be scary when they come home. The energy is going to be up in the air. You know, we're going to see that talent that they have. You're going to see those pitchers that are going Division I. You're going to see the hitters jacking homers all day. So I'm just excited to watch them and be able to watch this talent.
Yeah, I mean, we talked with Jarrett Mills, I believe, on our second episode, and 5th year of the program, and they've been to the World Series, and they just get talent. And it's kind of weird. Like, I don't want to say it's not earned or deserved or what it is, but it's kind of weird that in an early life of a program in Northeast Nebraska, we get so much talent, don't you think?
We've seen this with the soccer program as well, where they've only been around for about the same period of time, and they're able to bring in the same amount of talent as well. I guess you just develop it quickly, and you find the weakness in your conference, and you just get going, get some talent in that program. Once you find some success, just more people get eyes on the program, more people want to come your way.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's like a snowball effect. You start doing really good, you get more traction, you get more play, and they're like, oh man, this team's good, I'll go there. It's like the Duke effect. I'm not saying we're Duke by any means, but like, oh, Duke's good, they get all the 5 stars. Well, when you get all the 5 stars, you keep being good, which means you get all the 5 stars. And so it's kind of that effect, as we sit, I believe, still 18th nationally. Mm-hmm. So definitely a lot going on with that team. And like I said, they're going to be home Wednesday, March 9th for their first appearance here in Norfolk, and kind of eagerly awaiting that, like I said. And then they got a long home stretch, as they're going to be 7 straight home games for them until they hit the road against Iowa Western on the 23rd. So we're going to have a long peek at them and really get to kind of dig more into what we can find out about the team.
It really helps that you're in a really strong conference like we are too. We don't have the amount of funding or sports as some of these other bigger schools in our conference, but if you can put yourself in these conferences like that, you can get talent that want to come your way and be like, I might have not been able to go to one school, but I can go to this school and just still put up numbers and get to the level I want to.
Yeah,
you're going against really tough schools in the area. You want to put yourself in a further place. You can go to anywhere in that conference and put up some good numbers.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, competition breeds excellence, and I'm a very, very firm believer in that. So if you're a baseball player and you're thinking about coming to Northeast and you're watching this,
do it.
Come to Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be my best advice.
Yeah.
As we're going to shift into some softball, who they're 5-5 on the year, so sitting about pretty average to middle of the road there, coming off of a couple of wins yesterday that we got a chance to go watch. 7-4 in the first one against CCC and 14-4 in that second game. And man, we were just a little, I don't want to say beaten up by the sun, but it was kind of unusual to have that much sun on you in one day. So we kind of checked out a little bit early on that second game, but that first game we kind of pulled a lot of information from. And Greta showed some talent out there pitching. I mean, it's been the first time I've got to watch her in quite some time, I'm pretty sure. So she showed some good talent. We had a couple good hits. I believe Brianna Aguilera smacked a 3-run home run and gave them a nice cushion in that first game. And so I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on what you saw and what you expect from the team.
Yeah, the team, just their opening 4 is just going to be solid all around. You're going to get someone on base out of that opening 4 lineup on the hitting side. And then on the pitching side, you got Josie Nust and Emily Spitz right now on the mound alongside Greta Lindbergh as your starters, and that's probably going to be the 3 that you see in the rotation. They're looking pretty solid. They all got reps during that last game, and they all had a decent amount of Ks for the innings that they were in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty impressive showing. I wasn't sure what to expect. I know on the car ride down there, we talked about several things, and I was just like, I'm going to use this experience. We worked on social media stuff there, but I was like, I'm going to use this experience more as trying to gauge where we are as a team, because I hadn't seen them yet. I know you had a chance to go watch them scrimmage, and then you had a chance to work that Iowa Western game when they were home at Tahazuka. So you had kind of already seen a little bit of what we had going on, but I had not. So that's kind of how I kind of used my first experience seeing this team. And I don't know if you have gotten to see them, but
I have not.
You can give your brief thoughts on what kind of season you expect them to have, again, sitting at 5-5 on the year.
I'm expecting them to have a good season. Like Connor said, their pitching rotation's always good. They're always going to get somebody on base. So I'm expecting them just to come out after this 500 start and just start dominating and kicking some butt.
Yeah, I mean, I like your prediction right there. I mean, I hope it comes true. And
I hope so.
Kind of looking at their schedule coming up, 2 games on Friday. We're hopefully going to be streaming them. I know Brian's going to go check the internet out there today and see if that is hooked up. So if you can't make it, we'll definitely be streaming it. I believe you and Peyton are on the call for that, if I'm correct. So that ought to be pretty fun to listen to. Saturday, though, I'm just looking at this. I don't know if any of you guys knew this. I didn't know this until I looked. They are postponed. Those 2 games are postponed. Did you guys know that?
No.
I guess it must have came in yesterday or the day or sometime in the last couple of days. They just must have got postponed, or we got weather coming up on Saturday, so they're just like, yeah, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the schedule here, so no games on Saturday for them, but again, they will have 2 games on Friday and look to extend their winning streak that sits at 3 games right now. And any closing thoughts on Hawk Sports before we transition?
No.
Looking pretty good heading into the month of March with both softball and baseball.
Yeah, I mean,
just simple as that. And we got golf still going. They're out in Vegas this weekend. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to go have some fun in Vegas. I know you're going to Vegas here at the end of April. I mean, I'll be there as well at the end of April for different reasons, but definitely a fun time in Vegas, hopefully, for the golfers, as we're going to talk some Nebraska ball.
Oh, boy.
Because, my goodness, what Fred Hoiberg restructures his deal to make less money, and now he wants to be a good coach. Can someone please explain this to me?
I call that a win-win scenario right there.
I mean, valid. I mean, save us some money, and, you know, it's so weird. As we're on our first 2-game win streak since, I got to scroll up to November 23rd and November 27th.
Oh, jeez.
Thank the Lord.
Since the end of November, we're on our first 2-game win streak.
We need it.
Beating Penn State and then beating number 23 Ohio State. That first one was a 23-point victory against Penn State, and then an 8-point victory over Ohio State.
After seeing them lose to Maryland when I was there at PBA, how is this happening? I can't believe that team should not be going out there and beating Ohio State. I've seen Ohio State play this year. That team is super good. Nebraska, I can't believe they got that win. That was just unbelievable.
It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes 0 sense. I don't know.
Literally,
it doesn't make any sense.
A switch was flipped 180. There's no reason for it. There's no change other than Hoiberg got less money.
But I mean, you do have an NBA level head coach as the Nebraska men's basketball coach.
Yeah, but we've had him for 3 years.
I know, and he hasn't done.
My question.
I know, and he hasn't done jack.
So I mean, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. My question to you guys is, when we get the Big Ten tournament starting here. I had it pulled up here. March 9th is when the first kind of games tip off.
Are we in that playing game?
I think we're in.
We're gonna get.
We're gonna be like the 13th or 14th.
We're gonna play Maryland again. Great.
Pretty much.
Yay.
But my question to you guys is: do you think we can make a run? Not if we're gonna win the thing, because that's a little ambitious,
How about
if you will.
I assume we're coming in that playing game. I think we could get through the playing game and then maybe win the first round. But other than that, I think that's where our limit. I think we can get 2 wins.
Think 2 wins? I don't know.
Maybe get 1 upset and then we're done.
This team is so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, they sucked all year, and now they decide to show out against Ohio State as we're getting like
in Penn State.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, guys. I want us to go on a run. I want us to win it.
Yeah, so do I.
Imagine we suck all year, and then we win the Big Ten tournament, so we get an automatic bid into the March Madness.
And then
bracket.
we upset
It's like
number 1 Gonzaga as a 16 seed.
Can we rush the court?
Yes.
Could we rush the court off?
Yeah, we could.
Oh, no.
If we make March Madness, we go and we rush the court.
Well, you know, I saw something on TikTok last night. It was like rules for rushing the court. Everyone has their unwritten rules for like what can constitute a court rush. And his were kind of like obviously if an unranked beats a ranked.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're both ranked, it has to be a top 5 school against someone at least in the back 15, so 15 and farther.
Yep.
And then he had if it's a school rivalry.
Yep.
Which to me that makes sense. I don't care if we're both 0-14. If Nebraska beat Iowa,
I'm running the court.
Like bleep Iowa at this point, but Iowa has bad corn. If you guys are picking up what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're gonna be like Kansas after they beat SDSU in football. rush the field, storm the field.
Oh, yeah, Kansas, go cheer on basketball, says Baker Mayfield. And
Yeehaw.
But no, I think storming the court is something I want to do one day, but being part of the media eventually, like, I don't know if I could storm the court. Like if I'm calling a game, can I just be like, oh my gosh, they won, and like throw my headset and just take off?
Here. I'm running out on the court.
It's like, I want to be part of the fans. I'm not part of the media right now.
No.
But I think that aspect of rushing the court in March Madness and just the whole March Madness feel is so fantastic. I love every bit of it.
It's going to be a really good time. I couldn't imagine rushing it at PBA. I feel like that's going to be someone's going to get hurt.
I
That's the one fear of rushing the court and rushing the field like that. You know someone's going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you
100%.
see some of the people at football games like rush the field and they're like jumping like 13 feet into a brush, like into bushes, and I'm like,
yeah, and then they get pummeled.
Have you seen the clip?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was at the Auburn game. They got the roses on the outside, and the dude just like fell right into that thing when he was rushing the field after the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, it's like
he just like face plants into this bush.
Like, is it really worth it? I mean, be smart about it. Eventually, you'll get your way onto the field and maybe go hug, like, whoever, run up and hug Scott Frost, be like, I can't believe we won.
If you're not in the front row, don't be like rushing out there. Don't be like
hurdle people.
Like, don't
Come
be
here.
like full speed kamikaze. You ain't stopping mode. But I mean, if you're in the back, just take your time. It's like you're leaving an airplane, trying to get down on the field. And one at a time, each one
in a single file line, exit in an orderly fashion.
Everybody hold your partner's hand.
But no, I can't wait for March Madness. And speaking of March Madness here, we were talking earlier this morning, and we are going to do a bracket here for Take Flight. The link is up on our Facebook page. You can join. The password is Take Flight if you need it. I don't know if you have a direct link if you would even need the password, but it is Take Flight, all one word. T and F are both capitalized.
Wow.
And we're going to give away a $50 Hot Shop gift card to the winner, the first place in the bracket tournament. So,
yep. Speaking of madness, how about college basketball this year?
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a
crazy.
cluster. literally, all of the top 6 got beat. What was it, like the other day or something like that?
Saturday.
All the top 6 got beat.
Yeah, I talked about that on
So
the
dumb.
And it's been the story of college basketball all year. It's been, just who wants to even be number one at this point, because you're going to lose.
How about this? March Madness, the 15 and the 16 seed on both sides make it. Or the 15 and 15 both make it to the Final Four and to the national championship.
Hey, you
this
never
year.
know.
The
That'd be
updated
funny.
rankings are pretty interesting right now. Top 10, it's Wisconsin and Providence, Purdue, Kentucky, Kansas, Auburn, Duke, Baylor, Arizona, Gonzaga. And I mean, Baylor shot up 7 places after getting that win over, I think it was Kansas. They got the win over to move up into 3rd place. And
Dang.
just seeing all that. Yep, you went up like 4 places, down 4 places. Everyone went all over the place. Tennessee shot up the board. Arkansas shot up the board. And then St. Mary's and UConn as well.
Yeah, just a lot of constant movement. Gonzaga is probably going to earn the top number 1 seed, so that won't be a surprise. But really, other than Gonzaga, who have still lost, a few games, no one's really kind of separated themselves as a top 1 or 2, like, for sure lock, even though in March Madness there's never a for sure lock because
there's so much parity right in that range. There's so many teams with 3, 4, 5 to like 7 wins, but if you got those 7 wins, you're in a really good conference. There's so many teams that are like that right now, where you can't easily rank these teams on quality. It's super hard to. So you got so many teams that are in maybe the top 20 that are all pretty evenly ranked, evenly matched up right now. I mean,
it's been just a weird year. I've never seen anything quite like it. It was the very first time ever that all teams ranked 1 through 6 had lost in the same day. So it's just been really, really weird. And to throw on top of that, Nebraska being weird as well in basketball is just, it's all just a bunch of craziness. And on that note, any other college basketball thoughts before we wrap that up and move into the final thing we're going to talk about here?
No, not really.
I don't think I have any. It's the small conferences are doing really good this year. I'm looking at Maury State. they've probably been the Cinderella story this year. We'll see how they do because they only got 2 losses on the year, and none of them in the conference play. So they're probably going to be the upset team to watch out for, the dark horse in the national tournament.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind when I'm filling out my bracket here for the
Yep.
Take Flight competition because I'm going to destroy you guys. You guys stand no chance. I am a bracket master.
Oh.
And I want to talk about something else I'm a master of. The NFL Combine is going to be going underway here pretty soon.
Ooh.
And Kenny Pickett measured in with the smallest hands ever.
Nice.
8.5 inch. Well, not ever at the combine, I should say. But
Yeah, the
with
smallest hands.
8.5 inches. And my question is, who cares?
Honestly, it doesn't matter about hand size. As long as you can throw a ball, don't matter about the hand size. Joe Burrow had small hands
Exactly.
at the
That's what I was
combine.
gonna say.
This is a story. Yeah.
It's a story.
Okay. Who cares? I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he going to do? He's just whatever. I don't care how big his hands are. Just go out when he goes out on the field and has a good performance, that's all you're going to be caring about here in a little
Exactly.
bit. You're not going to be caring about how big or small his hands are.
I'm not going to draft you because you have small hands.
You know what they say about small hands? Small gloves. See, my thing is if you can grip a football and throw it as a quarterback, I don't care how small your hands are.
Exactly. Don't matter.
Like you said, Joe Burrow had small hands when they measured him at the combine. It's
And now look at him.
does it really matter? Like, I can understand if like they literally were small enough where they couldn't grip a football,
Yeah.
like an NFL-sized football, but he hasn't shown any problems with that so far, so why does it matter?
Yeah.
And my thing about the combine, and I talked about this on Monday on the Vault, I call it the underwear Olympics. A lot of people call it the underwear Olympics. And it's like the only thing that I think that really, really matters that translates is the interviews. When you go and sit down with a GM or head coach and they ask you questions and they pick your brain and they try to get your football knowledge along with your just like normal knowledge. Like if you were running this concept, how would you go about checking and how would you go with an audible or what would you do?
What's your favorite color?
And sometimes they'll ask, questions that are like what's going on with this and that, and things that don't have
Exactly.
anything to do with football.
No correlation.
But they just want to see how you're going to respond if you're going to be rude. Like, well, what does this even have to do with football? I'm not
Exactly
answering that. Or if you're just going to oh yeah, I like red because
it's
I'm
my
a Husker fan or something.
Yeah.
Red, baby.
But
I bleed red.
the whole aspect of the combine, like you can tell a lot from different attributes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If you run fast in the 40, they're obviously fast. But a lot of people say game tape's going to show you that. Watching film will show you what kind of player you're getting versus watching them run without pads on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's interesting how much media attention within the sporting world the combine gets, when I think the only part that really, really matters is the behind closed doors. You don't really know what's going on in an interview like that.
Exactly. That's the only thing that really matters during the NFL Combine is how well they can identify things and how well they can speak and know concepts and how to read defenses as like a quarterback.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
And I was listening to Jordan Palmer on TikTok because he's a former NFL quarterback, Carson Palmer's brother, and he's got a pretty good following because he knows what he's talking about. And
Yeah.
he talked about the combine and how it's such a break from routine. And so that's why a lot of people, when they talk about the combine, they focus more on the pro day actually because it's more comfortable for the player. So it's not so out of their normal conditions. And so when they go to the combine, it's like you're going to this town, you're in a hotel, you wake up at 4:30 so you can get drug tested at 5, you have to wait in line, all this and all that, and it's so just not normal for them.
Yeah.
And so you can understand why someone would be a little off, but like I said, to me it doesn't really necessarily even matter.
Exactly.
I don't know. What do you think about the combine?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just nice to see. I feel like it's a nice way to just check where you're at for your stats, and it's a good way to compare players around things. But yeah, at the end of the day, that stuff doesn't really matter. It's all how you display yourself, how your personality comes off to these people that are going to have you on your teams or want to see if they want to have you on your teams. You just got to display good character and just go out there and just be really professional when you do it. And then you just look at the stats as good ways to just compare, as you just see how players came in and they're good benchmarks, and that's as much information you can take out of that stats that you acquire.
Yeah, and I will be watching the combine, even though I just kind of crapped all over it. But
It's kind of good background stuff.
yeah, it's good things to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when you watch the bench press,
yeah, it's like
that's about the best.
Dude going to town on the bench press, all the clips that they've been putting
Just
out
like
lately.
40 reps at 225.
just dropping 225 pounds just right on the chest, just break my ribs.
And
Why
they're not even like hyped about it. They're just like, yeah, I just tore that up. What are you going to do about it?
It's like a punter. Like, remember that punter last year where he repped like 20 or something reps of 225?
I mean,
That's insane.
Hey, punters are people too, and for the brand and all that
Shout
fun
out.
stuff. But I think we're gonna wrap it up there. And to be honest, guys, if I was an NFL team and I had the first pick, I would have a hard time picking between you two because I don't know.
We're both just terrible athletes.
Get in your underwear and run a 40 for me, okay? Why don't you go ahead and do that?
I'm
It's the
good.
underwear
All right,
Olympics.
it's that whoever
I'm good.
whoever loses the March Madness out of all three of us, got to go run the 40 in just your underwear, my guy.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm going to lose the brackets, so you guys better be prepared for the underwear Olympics.
You want to put a wager on it?
No.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
not
be
a betting
down.
man.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, maybe we'll find
You
a way
two will
we'll find a way to entice Chris into some sort of
Come on, Chris.
weird gamut thing. But for now, we're going to end this episode of Take Flight. Thank you so much for watching.